Alright, here we go. We're gonna go ahead and try to get rid of this annoying service light and the brake service light on 2006 530i. And I'm also getting this message here on the information screen. So let me turn off the radio here. So when you go to the information, by pressing this button right here, press down on it, hold it down, release, and then you'll get to the screen where it says service. Select service, and you will see the light here that says front brake pads need replacing. So I was driving for a while, and I had the yellow light saying that the brake pads needed to be serviced, and afterwards I went ahead and replaced the front brake pads. And when I tried to reset the service light, basically it stayed stuck like this. So it says front brake pads, it has the red light on it, and it says minus 9,000 what is it, that miles or something, I guess. Anyway, so after doing a little bit of research, I ended up finding out that once you replace the brake pads, you're also supposed to replace the famous sensor, the brake pad wear sensor. So I went ahead and ordered a new one online, and that's what I'm about to do. I'm about to replace the sensor also, because the brake pads are already replaced. They're brand new, and I couldn't get this light to reset. So for this job, you really won't need any special tools other than size 10 socket, 10mm socket, pair of pliers, and a pair of flathead screwdrivers. These, by the way, are the old brake pads, front brake pads, and as you can see, they have technically like 50% life on these things, at least. The brand new ones that I got barely have a little bit more than these brake pads do, but anyway, I decided to replace them anyway, just because, you know, I didn't want to take any chances. You're gonna need to jack up the car, and the brake pad sensor on this vehicle is on the left side, so the driver's side tire. Something else you want to do when doing this job is unplug or disconnect the battery. So all you have to do is just disconnect the positive terminal on this thing right here, which I had already kind of like loosened the bolts, the nuts. So disconnect that. Always try to be safe, and put some kind of locking device on the back, one of the back wheels, so the car won't roll, just in case, you know, you jack it up and it decides that it wants to go it wants to roll on you or something like that. But anyway, here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and jack it up, take the tire off, and then I'll show you what the sensor looks like. Okay. All right, so here we go. Tires off. When working around cars, you can never be too safe, so make sure that you use some jacks or something to hold the car up, just in case it slips. Okay, here we go. So this is where the where you go? This is where the sensor is, and it's basically just attached to the brake pad assembly. And all you do is basically use a flathead screwdriver to pull this off, or you can just do it by hand. And you can see the little spot right there where the tip of the sensor hooks up to. So all you're gonna do is basically just unhook this right here. This little thing right here hooks up to the nipple. Oh, jeez, come on. Anyway, there you go. And basically just unhook this. Sorry about the videos, like I'm trying to do this with one hand only. Unhook this one right here, and basically just gonna go ahead and open this little box right here, plastic box. Let me pause this really quick. Okay, here we go. Let's try this again. So you detach this cable from here, from this spot, and then once you open the little plastic box, basically just gonna pull the sensor connection out, and this is where the sensor is gonna be plugged to. And the reason why I unplugged the battery, or I disconnected the battery, is because when you're working with electrical stuff, if the battery is connected and you plug the sensor, in this case, the power surge might actually damage it. So you want to make sure that you disconnect the battery so there's no power surge going to that particular connection at the time when you plug the sensor. Okay, so the sensors are roughly like 20-25 bucks online. I found these two on sale online for 20 bucks for the pair. And this is the front wheel sensor, I mean the front brake pad wear sensor. This is the rear one. The rear sensor goes in the passenger side rear wheel of the vehicle. Okay, and the way you can tell the difference between this one and the rear one and the front one is that the rear one doesn't have this little plastic ring right here, the one that attaches to the bleeder nipple. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and open these and get it ready to reconnect it. Okay, so unplugging the old sensor is really easy. All you have to do is push on this little tab right here with your finger, and then just pull. I already did that because, again, I'm just doing this with two hands. With one hand. So anyway, just push this little tab right here and then pull this down, and the plug will come off. And then this is the connector for the vehicle. Another thing you want to do is compare both pieces before you install it. This is the old one. This is the new one right here. And you can tell, just look at the size. Obviously the old one is a little shorter. You can tell right here. The new one is a little longer than the old one. And also, if you look at both tips, you can see that. Gee whiz, let me see. Here we go, come on. Focus, focus, focus. Okay, you can see that the new one, this one right here, and the old one are very different, because the old one is already worn. It's worn quite a bit. You can tell the difference of the distance of the sensor. Okay, so obviously this one needed to be replaced big time. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and plug the new sensor in. And again, all you have to do is just push this in place. Snaps. Come on. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it again because I need to do this with 2 hands, just not one. Alright, so once you make sure that the sensor is properly connected, put it back in place. And it's a little box in there. Come on. There we go. Alright, that one's back in place. Then just close the little box. Make sure it's secure. And then just bring this around. Connect it to this section right here. There we go. Okay, and now we're just gonna go ahead and connect this little plastic ring or piece to the valve nipple right here, and put the cap back on. Okay, so that basically holds the sensor in place, and then you just connect the sensor. Here's the tip. Here's the oh shoot. Here's the brake pad, and the tip will just connect to the brake pad right there. And there it is. It's ready. It's already connected. You don't need to. Again, you don't need any special tools. You don't need to use any force to connect this. You can just do it with your fingers. Just put it in there, and then make sure that it clicks and that it's held securely in place. That's all you need to do. So just in case there's still any doubts, this is pretty much what the brake pad looks like inside once it's installed next to the disc. And basically all you're doing is you're just grabbing the sensor. The sensor tip goes right into this little notch right here. Let's put it right in there and just push it in till it snaps. And that's all basically that I did with the brake pad installed. Okay, and same thing when you pull it out, just what you're gonna be doing is just pulling this with your fingers and attaching it. Okay, now that the new sensor is installed, I'm gonna go ahead and put back the tire and lower the car and see if I can reset the warning light. By the way, I did replace the rear pads about 2 months ago, and I didn't have that problem with the sensor. I basically just went ahead and reset the warning light. Didn't give me any problems at all. I follow the instructions that they have online on YouTube, how to reset the warning light on the brake pads, and it worked like a charm. Just this time, when I replaced the front brake pads, I couldn't reset the light, and it was because of the sensor. I found out that I had to replace the sensor also.